All right, guys, welcome to the show for Friday, June 17th, 2022. It's actually our part 2 video here. We're 4-0 in our last $4.99 daily best plays on my website. Before we get into some more of that, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to the video. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. Once again, guys, I'm 4-0, my last $4.99 daily best plays on my website. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on BrockPage.com is I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. Now, I currently have over 700 members who are signed up and active on that website right now. And if you want to see my current sports betting record, you can do that for free right now by going to the homepage. With that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into our part 2 video. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Brewers taking on the Reds, 6:40 p.m. East. Both teams are minus $1.10 with a total at 9.5. Eric Lauer for Milwaukee, Hunter Greene for Cincinnati. And even though Green's had a tough start to the year, he's now won 3 games on the season, and he struck out a whole lot of batters in the process. Greene currently has 79 strikeouts in just 60 innings of work. The Reds have also done a nice job of scoring at the Great American Ballpark. Brandon Drury leads the club in home runs with 13 of them. He also drove in 34. Meanwhile, Kyle Farmer leads the club in RBI with 37 of them. They're taking on a Milwaukee squad who's really struggled as of late. They lost 8 out of their last 10, and they're simply striking out just way too many times on the road. Now, total-wise, 8 out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings got over the number. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. The Brewers are also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 outings themselves. Now, the Reds on the other side, they are currently 18-11 to the over in their own stadium. I'm going to lean towards Cincinnati minus $1.10 and the over 9.5. Next contest, Phillies Nationals Game 2. That's going to be a 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Philadelphia is minus $1.55, totals 10.5 in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Bailey Falter for Philadelphia, Paolo Espino for Washington. And despite my original pick for Game 1, I do think the Nats have a chance at keeping this one close in Game 2 with Espino. The righty's got himself a 2.08 ERA and a 1.02 whip. Meanwhile, offensively, the Nats have done a nice job making contact with the baseball. They're actually in the top 3 in the league right now in fewest strikeouts at the dish. Juan Soto's got 13 home runs on the year, along with 28 RBI. Meanwhile, Josh Bell leads the club in RBI with 36 of them. 36 RBI for Josh Bell. That's what I'm trying to say. They're taking on a Phillies club who plays just .500 baseball on the road, despite their recent success. The Phillies have also struggled with strikeouts at the plate. They're actually amongst the worst in the National League right now in that category. When it comes to the starting pitching in this one, Bailey Falter has only 15 innings of work under his belt, and he already has 2 losses. Now, Falter has also got himself a 4.20 ERA and a 1.47 whip. When it comes to the total in this one, once again, 9 out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings got over the number. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. I'm going to lean toward Washington plus 1.5, keeping this one close. And the over 10.5 in Game 2. Next matchup, Giants-Pirates, 7:05 East. San Francisco's minus $2, totals 8 runs. Carlos Rodon for San Francisco, Zach Thompson for Pittsburgh. Now, Thompson hasn't been all that great this year. He's just 3-4 with a 4.50 ERA and a 1.36 whip. The Pirates have also been pretty bad hitting the baseball. They're in the bottom 3 in OPS, and they average only 3.5 runs a game. They're taking on a Giants team who certainly can score with the best of them. Wilmer Flores has 34 RBI on the season. Mike Yastrzemski, he scored 31 times already as well. When it comes to the starting pitching, Carlos Rodon has been a strikeout machine. He's got 83 strikeouts in just 65 innings pitched. The lefty's also got 5 wins on the year along with a 3.18 ERA. Now, total-wise, the Giants saw their last 10 straight fall under the number, depending on where you're shopping at. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh's 19 and 11 to the under at PNC Park. I'm going to lean towards San Francisco -1.5 and the under 8 runs. Next ball game, Yankees Blue Jays 7:07 East. Both teams are -110. Totals 9.5. Jordan Montgomery for New York, Ross Stripling for Toronto. And despite a good start to the year for Stripling, the Blue Jays lost 2 out of their last 3, and they've had a tough time with New York in recent meetings. Matter of fact, the Jays have averaged only 2.4 runs a game in their last 10 contests with the Bombers. They're also going up against Jordan Montgomery here today, who's lost just 1 game in over 62 innings. Now, the lefty also comes into today's ball game with a 2.70 ERA and a .98 whip. Now, offensively, this is arguably the best lineup in the American League, at least the most dangerous. They're actually leading the majors in home runs, top 3 in scoring. Of course, Aaron Judge, he's responsible for a lot of that. The Sluggers hit a league best 25 home runs already. He also has 49 RBI. Meanwhile, Anthony Rizzo is right behind him with 16 home runs and 43 runs batted in. And when it comes to the total in this one, oddly enough, the Yankees are 16 and 11 to the under when they travel. They've also gone 60% to the under in their last 10 meetings with Toronto. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the New York Yankees -110 and the under 9.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Marlins taking on the Mets, 7:10 p.m. East. Now, this game's currently off the board. Pablo Lopez possible for Miami. Carlos Carrasco maybe for New York. Now, the Mets have been nearly unbeatable in Flushing, Queens. They're 21-9 at Citi Field this year. They're doing a nice job of hitting the baseball. Matter of fact, the Mets lead the Bigs in team batting average right now, and they're also amongst the highest scoring teams in the majors as well. And of course, when you mention this New York lineup, first thing that comes to mind is Pete Alonso. He's got 18 big home runs and 59 runs batted in. He's in the top 3 in the league in both of those categories. Meanwhile, Jeff McNeil's the team leader in batting average as he's hitting .324. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Mets winning this one outright for some money line cash. All right, next matchup I have for you, a little interleague play. I'm talking about the Cardinals taking on the Red Sox, and that's going to be a 7:10 Eastern start time. Boston's -120 at home, totals 10 runs. Michael Wacha for Boston, Adam Wainwright for St. Louis. Now, Wainwright's got 5 wins on the year along with a .284 ERA. The Cards have also done a real nice job at the plate. They're currently in the top 5 in team batting average, and they rarely strike out at the dish. Now, Paul Goldschmidt, he pretty much leads the club in every offensive statistical category. He's currently hitting .347 with 16 home runs and 56 runs batted in. Now, Goldie's also currently leading the majors in OPS as well. Meanwhile, Nolan Arenado has 11 home runs and 41 RBI. They're taking on a Boston team who's playing just .500 baseball at Fenway. When it comes to the total on this one, Boston went 70% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, St. Louis on the other side went 18 and 13 to the under when they bat first. I'm going to lean toward the Cardinals +$1 and the under 10 runs. Next contest I have for you, it is going to be Rangers taking on the Tigers, 7:10 Eastern first pitch. Detroit's -120 at home, totals 8 runs. Tarek Skubal for the Tigers, John Gray for Texas. Now, Johnny Gray comes into today's ball game with a 1.27 whip and a whole bunch of strikeouts. He's actually fanned 57 batters in just 52 innings pitched. The Rangers also play their best baseball on the road. They're currently in the top 10 in the league in fewest runs allowed while traveling. They're taking on a Detroit club on the other side of things who's actually on a 5-game losing streak themselves. And they pretty much have the worst offensive lineup in baseball. I don't think there's really any argument to that. The Tigers hit fewer home runs a game than any other team, and they're scoring just 2.7 runs per contest. And even if Skubal throws a gem for Detroit, this is a Tiger team who's dead last in OPS at the dish. Now, total-wise, Detroit is 23-13 to the under at Comerica Park. Meanwhile, Texas has gone 18-13 to the under as the official road team. I'm going to lean toward the Rangers plus 105 and the under 8. Next ball game, it is going to be White Sox Astros 8:10 p.m. East. Houston's minus $1.60, totals 8. Framber Valdez for the Stros, Lucas Giolito for Chicago. As good as Giolito's been in certain spots, his whip is actually kind of getting a little out of control here. My man's got himself a whip of 1.44 right now. He's also backed by a lineup who simply can't get on base. The Sox are in the bottom 10 in OPS right now. They're also amongst the lower scoring teams in the American League. Now they're taking on Framber Valdez on the bump here, who actually has some really good stuff this season. The lefty's currently 6-3 with a 2.64 ERA and a 1.13 whip. Meanwhile, offensively on the other side of things, the Stros do a nice job hitting for power. Yordan Alvarez has 17 home runs and 45 runs batted in. Meanwhile, Kyle Tucker and Jose Altuve, they've hit a dozen home runs apiece themselves. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, the Astros are 65% to the under at Minute Maid Park. They've also gone 43-20 to the under at any location. I'm going to lean toward Houston minus 160 and the under 8 runs. Next matchup, it is going to be Padres Rockies 8:40 East. San Diego's minus 145, totals 12.5. Mackenzie Gore for San Diego. Kyle Freeland for Colorado. Now, Freeland's having a pretty rough year thus far. He's just 2-5 with a 4.39 ERA. The lefty's also got himself a whip above 1.40. Now he's taking on a Padres lineup who's ripping the cover off the baseball right now. Now, these guys are arguably the best scoring team on the road this season, and they're led by Manny Machado, who's hitting .328 with 43 RBI. Meanwhile, Jake Cronenworth's right behind him with 40 ribbies himself. When it comes to starting pitching in this one, Mackenzie Gore's having one heck of a season. The lefty's 4-2 with a 2.50 ERA and a 1.19 whip. Now, Gore's also struck out 60 batters in just over 50 innings of work. When it comes to the total, San Diego's 20-15 to the over while traveling. They also saw their last 3 straight outings get way over the line. I'm going to lean towards San Diego minus 145 and the over 12.5. Next contest, it is going to be Twins Diamondbacks 9:40 p.m. East. Minnesota's minus 135, totals 9. Devin Smeltzer for the Twins, Madison Bumgarner for Arizona. And even though Mad Bum's shown some pretty good stuff here, strikeouts are down for the lefty, and he also simply just can't get the W. Matter of fact, Mad Bum's currently just 2-6 on the year. When it comes to offensive production in this one, the D-backs just can't get anyone on base. They're nearly dead last in the majors in team batting average, and they're striking out almost double-digit times a game. Now they're taking on a Minnesota club on the other side of things who won 4 out of their last 6 themselves. And they also do a nice job getting runners on base. Luis Arias, he's batting .354 at the dish this year. He's actually first in the majors in that category. Nobody's doing it better. Meanwhile, Byron Buxton's hit a team-leading 18 home runs. And for some reason, even if the bats don't come alive here today, if they go cold a little bit, Devin Smeltzer has looked really good in limited action. The lefty's 3-0 through 34 innings of work, along with a 2.38 ERA. And even more impressive has been his .97 whip. Now, total-wise, Minnesota saw 3 out of their last 4 road games fall under the number. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Arizona's 70% to the under at Chase Field. I'm going to lean toward Minnesota minus 135 and the under 9. Next contest, it is going to be Royals taking on the Athletics here. And that's going to be a 9:40 Eastern first pitch. Oakland's minus 130, total 7. Frankie Montas for the A's, Daniel Lynch for Kansas City. And even though Lynch is awful, he is going up against an Oakland lineup who's pretty awful themselves. They're actually one of the worst in baseball right now. The A's are scoring only 3.3 runs a game, and they're currently dead last in team batting average. They also have Frankie Montas on the mound here today, who simply can't get the W despite some really good stuff. The righty's gone just 3-6 thus far in the season. He's taking on a Royals squad who does a nice job making contact with the baseball. A very tough team to strike out. As a matter of fact, the Royals are currently in the top 10 in the bigs right now in fewest strikeouts at the plate. Then when it comes to the number in this one, Kansas City's gone 3-0 to the under in their last 3 road games. Meanwhile, Kansas City on the other side, well, you know, they've had some unders this year as well. I am going to lean toward Kansas City plus $1.10 and the under 7. Next matchup, it is going to be Angels-Mariners, 10:10 p.m. East. Seattle is minus 130, total 7.5. Robbie Ray for Seattle, Michael Lorenzen for Los Angeles. And as good as Lorenzen's been, the Angels still dropped 7 out of their last 10. And they've had a tough time scoring runs on the road. They're taking on Robbie Ray, who has over 80 strikeouts already on the year, along with 5 wins. The Seattle lineup has also been very patient at the dish. They're actually in the top 3 in the majors right now in walks per 9 at the plate. When it comes to the total in this one, Seattle went 6-1 to the under in their last 7 at home. Meanwhile, the Angels are 70% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean towards Seattle minus 130 and the under 7.5. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Guardians taking on the Dodgers. And that's going to be a 10:10 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers are minus 270, totals 8 runs. Clayton Kershaw for Los Angeles, Zach Plesac for Cleveland. And even though Plesac has had his struggles, he's still managing to keep his whip below 1.30. Meanwhile, as a team, the Guardians have won their last 4 straight, and they also got the W in 8 out of their last 10. Jose Ramirez, he's hitting a team-best .306, along with 16 home runs and 62 RBI. And speaking of runs batted in, Ramirez is actually leading the majors in that RBI category. Cleveland's taking on a Dodger club who lost 6 out of their last 10 themselves. And they successfully cashed in on the run line in just 40% of those contests I just mentioned. This Dodger lineup has also struggled a bit to get on base at home. When it comes to the total, LA's gone 80% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the Guardians saw their last 3 on the road fall under the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Cleveland plus 1.5 and the under 8 runs. Of that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where I'm currently 4-0. My last 4 $1.99 daily best plays on that website give me Cincinnati minus $1.10 and the over 9.5. I'm also leaning toward Washington plus 1.5 and the over 10.5 runs in Game 2 of the doubleheader with Philadelphia. Give me San Francisco minus 1.5, under 8 runs. I like the Yankees minus $1.10, under 9.5. Give me the New York Mets winning their game outright for some money line cash. I also like St. Louis plus $1, under 10 runs. Give me the Texas Rangers plus 105, under 8. I also like Houston minus 160, under 8 runs. Give me San Diego minus $1.45, over 12.5. I also like Minnesota minus 135, under 9. Give me the Kansas City Royals plus $110, under 7 runs. I also like Seattle minus 130, under 7.5. And with my next and final free pick for the video, I'm going to lean toward Cleveland plus 1.5 and the under 8 runs. With that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on my Safe and Secure website, you're going to get access to that membership every single day all the way through the end of June. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet that I give out on that website, you may want to think about signing up for my board member tier. Not only do board members get access to the board member tier package bet itself, they also get access to every single bet, every single package, every single day, all the way through the end of June as well. It's an all-inclusive membership. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, guys, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.